Shalom, Karla Yaba Shin Hosha, Shalom to the elect. Now this video, let me pull this back up here because I was about to go into another precept. Now we look at the book of Revelation, and you actually pay attention to the news and what's going on right now around the world. They keep having these talks with nukes and stuff. And now let me see if I can pull this up on my Twitter still. See if it's on there. Because I got on. Oh, yep, here you go right here. I got on. Yeah. Just, check on a little bit of my business and stuff like that. And I happen to see this on the side now. It says hypersonic missiles could start World War III. But that's not the biggest threat they pose. The Pentagon wants to spend, let me go back up. The Pentagon wants to spend $3.8 billion next year to catch up with China and Russia. Why do they want to catch up with China and Russia? That's why they want to catch up with them. Let's just real quick, because they know. The elites know, at least. Even peon Edomites, they don't really know what the fuck going on. They think the U.S. military is the greatest military in the world. Only thing is, let me get my camera together so I can make sure my screen a little bit more clear. All right, there you go. That's better. They think they got the greatest military. Only reason why, because they every goddamn country. But see, meanwhile, while they're spreading their resources thin, taking care of the troops and all this different stuff, and getting all that equipment and all that, these other nations, they're not in everybody's country, so that gave them time to stock up and fulfill this prophecy. Right here. It's the book of Joel, chapter 3. Verse 10 says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I'm strong. Now, hey, China and Russia, they've been talking heavy shit. It was just a meeting recently. You had Putin sitting down basically holding a conference with all his military men. Basically letting people know, like, hey, y'all crossed that line. We ready to do what we gotta do, so to speak. So, back to this piece of this article right here. It says the Pentagon wants to spend $3.8 billion next year to catch up with China and Russia, which have already deployed hypersonics. But despite all the hype, the new weapons don't pose much of a threat to the U.S. And see, that's Esau pride, like the scripture say. The pride have deceived thee. Their pride have deceived thee. They think, okay, nothing happened. Ain't nothing gonna go down. This book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 16, it says, thy terribleness have deceived thee. Because Esau been going around fucking up everybody's else, so they think. You see the article? Hold on, I keep going to the wrong browser. So like, you see they saying they got to catch up with China and Russia, but they still think that's not no threat. But what if they link up and join together? But no, that can never happen. Now it says, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldest make thy nest high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, said the Lord. And that's what's going to happen. Because ultimately, these leaders and these different rulers, they're not really in control of what's going on. They're just pawns on the Most High chessboard, so to speak. Now, let me see what else I want to go to. Now it says, while the new weapons don't pose much of a threat to the U.S., they could accelerate and intensify local conflicts, which one of the conflicts actually is over there stirring up right now. You go look at the news and see for yourself. I ain't just pulling this out of thin air. And this is another reason why a lot of people don't like to watch the news, because motherfuckers don't want to see reality, even though it's a lot of so-called fake news and stuff. But you got to know how to find the real shit, because it's real news as well. But a lot of people try to escape reality, but man, once this reality take place, You ain't gonna be able to just escape it like that. The only way you're gonna be able to escape is if the Most High got that hedge of protection around you. Got them angels helping you out, making sure you guided in the right direction and you protected. Simultaneously, I want to show this video right here to show how quick stuff can change in just one day.
Out south of Boulder just after 11 this morning. Since then, nearly 600 homes have been burned, making it Colorado's most destructive wildfire in just a matter of hours.
In just a matter of hours. So let's keep that in mind. Let's go to this real quick. Come to this. And that's just some damn fire shit right there in Colorado. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 18. Verse 17, it says, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. So if everything gonna come to naught in this country, what's gonna happen? What they gonna do? Use these right here. That's the only thing they can do it. But nah, that could never happen though. That ain't gonna happen. It says, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company of ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off. Now why all these ships stood afar off? Because they weren't able to bring their goods into this place. They weren't able to trade them on this place was through. According to this vision, and it's gonna happen like that. But nah, people been saying that for hundreds of years. My great-great-grandma been saying that. Yeah, alright. See, back then you ain't hear these talks about the Sputnik and the Satan II nuclear missiles and shit like that. And we ain't talking about that 100 years ago. But for some reason, they keep popping up in the news now. And if I can, let me see if I can find the actual clip. So I can put this in the little section so other people can click on it as well. Well, see, I didn't even see this part right here. It says the high velocity of hypersonic missiles means more damage than ballistic missiles. The maneuverability at lower altitude make them harder to track and intercept, which means what? Let me go to this real quick. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50. Let me see, starting at verse 13. It says, because of the wrath of the Lord, it should not be inhabited. What should not be inhabited? You gotta think, you gotta ask these questions when you read this stuff. Piece together locations, know the history. When they talk about Babylon's fall, it's certain. Where is Babylon? Not the ancient Babylon, not over there in what's the area, the ancient Iraq area and all that. And why is it so certain? What happened? What did this land do to deserve this? It says, because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it should be wholly desolate. Everyone that go about Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all plagues. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all you that bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord. And ain't none of them arrows gonna return either. Once they let this go, they can't come back. Ain't no SpaceX rocket and that shit gonna come land back on the launch pad. Let me see if I can find this other precept. Oh yeah, here we go. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 50. And verse 9 said, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country." Now, now, so you got to pay attention to this too. And keep in mind, what nations? From what north country? You go look at the map. Let's look at this on this map. See if I can find like a recent map. Then you got China right over there with them and all these other nations. This is in the north. You look at the longitude, latitude, and all the other coordinates. What did I say right there? The screen a little blurry. Salaki. I was eating a little food and touched my phone. But it says the north right there. If you can see it. You go back to this. It says, "For behold, for lo, I will raise a cause to come up with Babylon, and assembly of great nations from the north country. They should set themselves in array against her." And that's why they even mentioning this. They worrying about Russia and China. They're not worrying about Japan. They're not worrying about Turkey. They're not worrying about London. They're not worrying about Australia. They're worrying about who? These great nations from the north country. And it says, "And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken, their arrow shall be as a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain." Why they ain't gonna return? Because these don't return right. Once they go up, that's it. They going to their destination. And this clip right here, ain't no screen. Be clear. I know some people be hitting me up sometimes. They be complaining about the view. I ain't trying to make no Quentin Tarantino films or nothing. I'm just trying to make some edifying videos. But it says that maneuverability and lower altitude make them harder to track and intercept. That sound like what? These arrows from a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain. So, just in that quick moment, and for 1 hour, stuff can change just like that. And let's go back to this video. What does this lady say? What happened in 1 hour? And that's just in this area. I'm talking about from this little, fire, whatever this was caused by. But when them arrows hit, that's a whole different type of fire.
Since then, nearly 600 homes have been burned, making it Colorado's most destructive wildfire in just a matter of hours.
Just a matter of hours.
Authorities say both fires were caused by power lines knocked down by strong, very powerful winds.
The situation really escalated so quickly, catching Coloradans off guard as they were just going about their days. This video shared on Twitter shows shoppers...
Hey, they caught them off guard like, what that remind you of? Go to this real quick. What does that remind you of? You know, it remind me of. Book of 2 Peter chapter 3. Waiting on to load up. I don't know why it's moving slow. Now it says, "But the day of the Lord." But yeah, 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10, it says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night." Hey, these people weren't expecting that shit. They probably was chilling. They was just getting ready to celebrate the new year. And this happened.
The situation really escalated so quickly, catching Coloradans off guard as they were just going about their days.
They were going to get fireworks and shit. That's what they was going to do. Now it says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, and thee which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, the earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Because of them arrows. Ain't nothing else gonna do it. Ain't nothing else gonna melt nothing. Now this is a scenario, like I said, I just wanted to share this clip because I seen it on there and it's sparked a little inspiration about this video. But how the Most High coming? As a thief in the night. They weren't expecting this. This was like a thief in the night.
This video shared on Twitter shows shoppers evacuated from the Costco in Superior. Many appear to be just surprised by just how serious the situation is when they get outside.
As the fire continues to burn, tens of thousands of Coloradans are under evacuation orders. The areas you see in red on this map, those are areas where evacuation orders are in place. The areas in yellow are under evacuation warnings.
Now, several evacuation centers are set up tonight. Here's a list provided by the governor's office. In Lafayette, you have the YMCA of Northern Colorado, Dagny Way. In Niwot, the Rocky Mountain Christian Church on Niwot Road.
In Boulder, the North Boulder Rec Center on Broadway. In Longmont, the Longmont Senior Center. However, that location is not for overnight shelters. For animals that need to be evacuated, they can be brought to the Jefferson County Fairgrounds.
All right, let's get to tonight's team coverage, and there is a lot of it.
We have our crews all across Boulder County right now. We'll check in with everyone here in a second, but we want to get right out to Denver 7's Russell Haythorne.
Russell, your Coal Creek Golf Course there in Louisville, that's where you are, and you've seen some awful flames there all day long.
It started with an ominous cloud of smoke in Boulder County, cars turning around on US 36 to escape the fast-moving wildfire. It quickly grew out of control.
It got real smoky, and it just kept increasing.
Let's get back up. Moving so fast, it caught even us off guard and several people in nearby businesses and hotels.
What is good? The fire is not far.
Then, mass evacuations in suburban Denver. Officers going door to door in Superior, a natural disaster unlike anything anyone in Colorado has ever seen.
And see, look, that's just this. This is a little event in Colorado. But once this shit take place, though, boy, man, sometimes I be riding around, I be thinking about this shit, I be looking at stuff around and just visualizing this shit. That's a serious event. Now, let me go back to this. This book of 2 Peter chapter 3. I'm just read on down and I end this up. Chapter 3 and verse 3 says, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers. Because a lot of people, they don't believe this shit. You tell somebody this, no, this ain't gonna never happen. That book was written by man, or whatever bullshit they be saying. Now it said, walking after their own lust and saying, where's the promise of his coming? Because they, like people been saying, oh, my great-grandma and my great-grandpa been saying that. Their grandparents been saying that. But it wasn't time for that shit, though. Everything don't work just because you want to work on a certain time frame. That's just how life is. Now I said, where's the promise of his coming? Since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. For this they willingly are ignorant of, and by the word of Yahweh, the heavens were of old, and the earth stand out of the water, and in the water, whereby... Now you gotta keep this in mind, you gotta think about this. Because when you're talking about water, it's not just talking about actual, like drinking water. It's talking about space, or how they call it cosmic waves. The Most High is so raw and majestic that actually create planets that just sit like it's on nothing. So you think he can't orchestrate something on this earth to judge Esau? We ain't got to do nothing. We ain't got to take up no militia, no arms, and none of that shit and go after Esau. We ain't got to go storm the capital. The Most High gonna put the spirit on these other leaders to turn on this place. He already doing it now anyway. It's just everything happened in increments, giving people a chance to see what's really going on and to repent and get their household in order. Now it says, whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished. Because remember, mentioned that about the Noah scenario. 100 years, niggas, they weren't trying to listen. Then when that water started coming, niggas wanted to listen. And they wanted to get on that boat, but it was too late. Now it says in verse 7, but the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. So drowning is one thing, because you know that shit kind of slow, you don't just die instantly. But can you imagine a flood of fire just hitting this bitch? That's, man, that's some serious shit, man. That ain't no joke. I know I talk a little rough, but fuck how I'm talking. Listen to the message. That's serious. That's not no joke. That's not no game. And this was gonna do it. These ballistic nukes. These nations, they get that spirit put on them, and they go to pressing them buttons. Ain't no, oops, I hit the button, let me turn it around. No, that's it. And according to this article, let me scroll back down real quick. It says it makes it, because how their maneuverability is and they hypersonic, it make it harder to track and intercept. So ain't no just, oh shit, we just gonna shoot it out of the air. We're gonna follow it or whatever. No, they ain't going down there. They gonna go where they supposed to go, on Babylon. Now it says in verse 8, well, beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise. And he promised. Everything that he promised is coming to fruition. A lot of people, they ain't know about Israel. They ain't know about the true descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob until these prophecies start coming to fruition, till the elders start getting set up, till the words start going out, to the four corners of the earth. People ain't know about that stuff. All this stuff was promised. That we was going to get our heritage back. Now it says the Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to us, with not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. See, everybody ain't gonna repent though. It's just how it's gonna be. Certain ones gonna repent, get themselves together, get right. This is a message for you. So I just want to bring this out. Don't get caught sleeping like these people right here. Look at Esau.
Go up, and these
Apartment complexes completely engulfed, houses on fire.
seeing people's homes, family lives go up, and these high winds really are making it uncontrollable.
The
All right. Shalom.